Good morning, friendly, wonderful people of Earth. Today I wanted to talk about the benefits that I've been experiencing in my life since I started working with the Kundalini energies, since I started intentionally raising them. Like I say in every single vlog post, this is just an account of my experiences. I can't tell you what happens for other people. I don't know. I'm just hoping that my Kundalini experiences are helpful for you, or whatever, benefit the world in some way. So I'm sharing because why not? I have notes because I tend to ramble. So if I can get this concise and clear, that's great. So the first thing I have down here is I don't want things. And what I mean by that is there was this feeling before I started working with the Kundalini energy that I was incomplete, that I needed to have a degree, that I needed to achieve certain things, that I had to look a certain way, be married, that my kids had to behave a certain way. Things felt very much like if things weren't this way in my life, if my life didn't look like this, then it was not okay. And I needed to work at having my life look a certain way. And also I wanted things like cars and well, I didn't want cars. I wanted a nicer car, makeup, clothes. I've never been super materialistic, but I did want things. And once I started working with the Kundalini energy and it started raising up and kind of moving through me and through my life, I stopped wanting. For a while, I stopped wanting completely. Like, I just didn't care what happened. I didn't care if it was like just me naked in my bedroom all day. It wasn't apathy, but it was just literally like the minute I'm awake, I'm alive. And if I'm alive, I have everything I need. And that's still the feeling that I have. But at the same time, there's this sort of desire to play with reality. Like, okay, so I'm here and this is kind of like a virtual reality game, so I can create my own world. Isn't this fun? And it comes from a place of like play and ease and fun rather than needing and wanting. So it's a different attitude completely. And it's like if I don't get these things that I'm kind of wanting to play with or feeling like it will be fun if I get these things, it's like no big deal. So I don't, I want this particular thing in my life before the Kundalini was moving through me. I'd feel like if I didn't have it, something was missing. And like I'd feel disappointment and like a longing for and an attachment. And now it's like, it'd be cool if I had this thing. But if not, I don't care. My life is just as good. It doesn't even affect my mood at all. So there's a lack of wanting material things, a lack of wanting achievement. And that's not to say that I don't have a purpose, because there is a deep purpose, which I'm going to get to. But there's no like, I need a degree in order to feel like I'm okay. None of that, which is such a relief because that was huge for me. Like I constantly was like, I need a degree to feel like I'm smart, or to feel like I can be in the world and be equal to people who have degrees. Totally silly to me now. Better moods. Oh my goodness, this is huge. I was so moody before, and I would get into these dark, dark places and really low, feeling awful about life, feeling awful about myself. Terrible, really. Just a terrible time with my emotional ups and downs. And now that the Kundalini is active within me and in my life, which I feel like is important to say because it doesn't feel like it's just in my body. It feels like it's kind of spilled out of me, and it's now this spirit energy is in my whole world. It feels like my moods are much more stable, much more stable. My kind of default before was like, if I look at an emotional scale as like 0 being terribly depressed, suicidal, and 10 being blissful ecstasy, my set point, my default was like a 3 or a 4. I was always feeling kind of like okay about life, and I was just going through my day. Every day kind of felt the same. And sometimes I'd get to like a 0 where I'd be like, I just want to die. I don't want to live anymore. And other times I'd get to like a 7 where I was feeling good and feeling happy. But now I'd say my default is a 6 or a 7. That's where I'm at just about every day. And it's been steady like that for about 2 months now. 2 or 3 months now of just feeling good every day. Just feeling very steady, very calm. No like extreme highs, no extreme lows. And if I notice that I'm getting into a bad mood, if I notice the downward spiral, I mean, it used to take a long time for me to notice. Now it's like the second really that I'm falling from that good mood, I catch it right away. I'm just much more observant about the way that I feel and the way that I'm thinking. It feels like I'm observing from a higher place. So my moods have been so much more steady, and just better in general. I'm just in a happier state. I'm happier in my life. And the third thing I put down here is I have much more of an objective view on my life, which doesn't seem like a big deal when I'm saying it right now. And if I had been watching this video 6 months ago, I'd be like, big deal, an objective view, who cares? But it has been incredibly helpful to be able to see my life as if I'm looking from the outside. I can see other people's points of views. I can see where I am screwing myself over. I can see where I'm being rude or mean. I can see where I'm making the same mistakes over and over again. It's almost like a lot of the time, even though I feel in love with my life, I really do feel in love with my life. I couldn't say that 3 months ago. I'm not attached to the outcomes in the same way, so it gives me an opportunity to pull back like I'm watching a movie, and I can see the characters and how what I say affects others and how what I do affects my life, and just the objectivity that I've gained has been incredibly helpful in helping me to interact with others in a more loving and kind way. It's helped my relationships. It's helped my life in general because I can see myself clearly now. I'm not as emotional about it. I'm not defensive the way that I was before. Or if somebody had criticized me, or no matter how they said it, even if they were trying to be nice, there'd be like a defense that would go up. And now there's just none of that. I want to see it. I want to look in the mirror and see how I'm creating my own hell or how I create my own heaven so that I can make changes. So I don't know. It's given me an eagle eye view of my life, which has been incredible. And that, I think, not only comes from raising Kundalini, but I feel that comes very much from meditation, because in meditation you're practicing the art of observation. You're just watching. So to be able to just watch your life, you know how in movies you see people making the same mistakes over and over again and you're like, are they stupid? But they can't see it? Well, that's what happens in your life. Or that's what has happened in my life. I have to be careful about the use because this is only my experience. I'm not going to tell you what your experience is, but my experience is that watching my life like a movie has been such a huge blessing in helping me to create the life that I want. And even me saying create the life I want, I haven't been doing anything to manifest the life that I want besides just feeling good. And I guess I'll get to that in later videos. It's way beyond the scope of this video right now, this journal entry. Go with the flow. I need a sip of my coffee. So, all of these benefits are beautiful. But one of the things that I've noticed most was this amazing feeling of being able to go with the flow. Being able to, okay, plans have changed at the last second. Maybe it's not what I prefer, but it's fine. Everything just feels good. Even the things that I don't prefer. There's just not the same reaction, the same responses that I used to have. It feels like I can much more broadly accept the things in my life that happen every day that may not be exactly what I prefer. I just kind of prefer life over all of it. And it makes my life flow so much easier, and my day doesn't get messed up. There's no mess up. There's no way to mess it up because I just flow. So it makes things so much easier. Into the meditative state is so much easier. I actually can't even describe how much easier. It used to take me a long time to sit and be in the present moment and get into the state of whatever you want to call it, the alpha waves, or just get into the flow of meditation. Now I sit, and within a minute or two, I am already in the meditative state. I can feel it, and it's a much deeper meditative state than I've ever been able to have before. And this, I just think, is practice with meditation, and I do believe that it has something to do with the Kundalini energy moving through my body. It helps me to get into the state of alpha or delta or theta, whatever it is, much more easily, much more quickly. I recognize what the state is, and I think my body is just in the habit of getting into that state. So meditation is much easier. I'm able to stay more focused, although I will say I've been meditating for pretty much my whole life, since I was 9 years old. I say that in other videos. And for the past 3 months, I've been meditating for most of my day, depending on how my days go, but 6, 7, 8 hours a day, sometimes even longer than that, and sometimes much less if I have things to do that day. But luckily right now I have a lot of time, so I spend a long time meditating, and I can tell you, even though I'm so practiced, and not as practiced as monks who live in caves, and a lot of other people have much more experience with meditation than I do, but thoughts still come, and it's still staying focused for even just 1 minute is impossible. The thoughts just come, they just do, and it's about returning over and over again, and I've kind of disciplined my mind to return. So that's become much easier. I'm more present. Much, much more present. I am sitting with my fiance in the car, and there's nothing else on my mind. I'm sitting with him in the car, and he's talking, I'm listening. I'm with my kids watching a movie, I'm with my kids watching a movie, and I'm totally engrossed in the movie. I'm eating breakfast, I'm tasting the food. I'm not thinking about 6 months from now. There's just this ease of remaining present that wasn't there before. I'm not perfect, so it's something that kind of comes and goes. There are times where I start getting caught up in thoughts about the future. I'm not very much of a past thinker. I don't really focus on the past at all, but I am a future thinker, or I was much more of a future thinker before. Now, I'm just much better able to remain present. It takes much less effort, and sometimes no effort whatsoever. And I only see that improving because it has been steadily improving. I feel healthier, a lot healthier. There is this vibrancy. There's this vibrancy and this vitality that I have now that I did not have before, where it just, my fucking God, people love me. So people love me like bill collectors in my children's schools. Anyway, so I just feel like where before I would get tired much more easily, and I have days where I'm actually more tired than before, but that's for a different video. Even when I am tired, I just feel perfectly healthy. There's a purity that has happened since the Kundalini has started moving that I've never experienced before. I've been a raw vegan. I'm not a raw vegan right now, but I spent about 6 months as a raw vegan, and there was this feeling of emptiness, this beautiful feeling of purity and lightness that I had when I was eating that way that is comparable to this, but this is even more pure and more intense. And I still am very much a healthy eater, so I think that does help. But I don't even know how to explain it, except for that there was a heaviness in my body and a tightness and a tension that I wasn't even aware of until I started moving this energy around. And the only way that I can think that it's worked is that it has purified me from the inside out and untied these knots and loosened this tension that I didn't even know existed. So now I just feel so open and empty and light. Just, I feel like I could almost jump up and be like flying almost. It's a beautiful feeling. It's wonderful. I feel perfectly, radiantly healthy. So I'm more sensitive to living beings. Right after I started really working with the Kundalini energy, about a month in, I was driving to Massachusetts, and it was a long drive. It was like a 2-hour drive. And I just was looking at the trees, and I could feel that they were afraid. The trees lining the highway felt like they were afraid of being cut down to make more room on the highway. I think they didn't like the cars. Like, I could sense them and I could feel them, and it sounds a little crazy. And I was, even while it was happening, I was like, this is really crazy, but I could feel their fear, and I knew what they were afraid of. And also, when I'm talking with people and they're interacting, I can see their energy interacting. I can see, like, as someone talks, I can see the energy pouring out of their body, and then I can see the other person respond to that, and I can see and feel the interplay of energies. And I also am very sensitive to the way that other people are thinking and feeling. And I feel like we saw, my fiance and I were walking, and we saw a man on the side of the road, and he was just, he looked like he was so uncomfortable in his skin. and I think my fiance would call it tweaking. I think he was like wanting drugs. And I could feel him, and I felt so awful for him that he couldn't sit still and that he was twitching, and like it just, I wanted to hug him. And I've always kind of been a compassionate person like that, but it's been amplified so much. So my feelings of compassion and wanting to help others from a place of love has really hugely expanded. I love myself. I have been working on self-love, intentionally working on self-love, meditations, affirmations, doing mirror work like Louise Hay suggests for years now. And some of it has worked where I could like tolerate myself and be with myself and have some level of self-acceptance. But it wasn't until I started working with Kundalini and the energy moving that I really, like, genuinely love myself. This feeling of loving every cell in my body and of me being just as worthy and valuable as anyone else. No more so, though, either, like in equality. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. And this feeling of like, I have something to give and something to offer, and I feel like I have a place in the world. And like, I don't allow anyone to mistreat me the way that I used to. It used to be like, I just felt, as long as everyone else is okay, it's okay that I'm not having any of my needs met, that I'm not being taken care of. I'll take the last piece of burnt toast, like, you all have eaten, that's good, 2 thumbs up. I'm good as long as everybody else is happy. And now it feels like, let's throw the burnt toast out and we can all have good toast. And I can have just as good of a meal as you can have. We can all be happy. It's just very different. There's no feeling of wanting to make myself small or wanting to like sacrifice myself and deny myself to make others feel comfortable. None of that. I feel like I can take up some space in the world and like I'm okay to be here. It's wonderful. Life purpose. I said before that I didn't desire anything, and that is true. I don't have a desire to achieve or to meet goals, or it's not the same kind of feeling. It's an inner drive in me to do things that fulfill my purpose that I didn't even know that I had. Like, for example, making these videos. I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, I just feel this drive to make a video every day. And it comes from within, and it's authentic, and it's real. It's something that wants to come out of me. And right now it's the same with yoga. I've been doing yoga every day, and it just occurred to me, I'm like, you know what? I've been doing yoga for a very long time now, since I was about 14, and I love it, and I am going to become certified. It's not a want, it's already happened. Like, I'm not technically certified as far as other people would be concerned, but I already feel like I'm a certified yoga instructor, and I've just been doing yoga every day because it's what wants to happen. It's what is coming through me. And the same with Reiki. I'm like, well, I never really cared much about Reiki before. I understood the chakra system, and I was fascinated by energy and energy work. But I never wanted to be a Reiki master before. I never really cared. And all of a sudden, it's like now I'm intensely interested in Reiki, and I'm getting my 2nd degree Reiki, my Reiki 2 certificate this weekend, tomorrow, actually. So that came from within me that I didn't even know was there. So there's this feeling of purpose, of wanting to help and wanting to give that wasn't there before. I always kind of felt like I was purposeless, drifting all the time. And now it feels like there's something that wants to happen through me to help the world. and like I need to do it. There's a need, there's a drive. I feel connected. Oh my God, do I feel connected? It's beautiful. I feel like me and the outside world are one thing. Like we're completely inseparable. There is no outside world. It's all in me. I feel like me and God, or the divine, are one thing. Can't be separated. I don't feel like I can be separated from anything, and I don't feel like anything can be separated from me. I am all of these things that are around me. Even like I'm talking right now, and I can feel this oneness, this wholeness, and it's almost ever present. It almost feels that way all the time. Every once in a while I forget, or it kind of leaves me, but almost all the time I just feel like me and that person over here, like we are one, and I would be them if I had their experiences, or I am them. So the feeling of oneness and connectedness is in me all the time, part of my experience. And I had glimpses of it before, and it was beautiful. But now it just feels like a way that I'm interacting with the world from a place of oneness and connectedness. Synchronicities. The synchronicities that have occurred in my life are incredible and strange, almost strange. For example, for my birthday, my fiance and I went to a place called Float, and they do aura readings, they do Reiki and massage, and they have float tanks, which are like sensory deprivation chambers. And I wanted originally to go in one of the float tanks for my birthday, but it was all booked up for like weeks. They wouldn't have an appointment for me for like a month. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll get Reiki instead. So we went there. My fiance was going to get a massage and I was going to get Reiki. And we went there, and the person who was supposed to have the float appointment, right as I walked in, canceled, like as I was walking in. So the float tank became available for an hour. So I spent 60 minutes in the float tank, which was my original desire. And things like we go out to brunch, and as we're driving by, the person right in front of the brunch place pulls out, and it's on a busy street that like you just don't get parking on anywhere near this place. And it's like that all the time, constantly. I don't even have like examples in mind because it just feels like part of my life now. Like, oh, of course that happened. It's like perfect timing, and it just flows that way. And I feel what that is I feel like the universe is a mirror. It's always mirroring back to me the energy that I'm putting out. And if I am putting an energy out of flowing with it and being okay with whatever comes, then it flows with me. And it's like, it's just, everything just lines up all the time. There's almost never an instance where it doesn't. Just feels perfect, like it's perfectly flowing. So anyway, that's been my experience with the Kundalini as it's moving through me. And I'm sure I'll have many more experiences and many more benefits. But that's just so far. It's only been 3 months now. 3 months and like 10 days. So we'll see, and I'll continue to document. But so far, that's what I have. I'd love to hear about your experience. If you want to comment below, if you want to reach out to me, my email's in the description. I'd love to hear about it. Like I said, I'm just sharing. I don't know why. I just feel compelled. Have a wonderful day, my friends.